Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the BFNL Netball Show for another week. Fantastic to be joining you once again. I will give a disclaimer before the show today, Matty. Our great sponsors, Coolridge Water, are very much helping me out today because my voice is just hanging on. So, as you hear just then, I could start sounding like a teenage boy going through puberty at any stage all during this show. So, we're hanging on by a thread. So, if you see me sipping water, just trying to make sure that we can get through the show. Okay, Matty Wiltshire, welcome.
Thanks for having the show, mate. Good to see you got a plug in for the sponsors as well. But,
Always.
We'll get you through the show, mate. We'll make sure you get through and the voice holds up all right.
I think it will be okay. Don't worry about that. Big week of netball coming up once again, of course, the last round before the finals. We're going to talk about that with Sebastopol's Rhiannon banner later on in the show. But before we do, we've got some interviews coming up. I spoke to Kate Martin. I asked her about this long sock business that we spoke about last weekend, so it'll be interesting to see what she says about that. And of course, we've also got our Stockland Wendouree Player of the Week award, the second last one for the season, which means next week we give out our last tablet for the year, the SC Technology Group Player of the Month. So all those players have had a good month. You've got another week to press your claims, so get out there and impress this weekend. Let's look back at round 17 first, as there's that little voice trickle that I was hoping wouldn't happen too much during the show, but hopefully everyone out there is getting a laugh of me being a little bit off my game. It was Melton taking on Bacchus Marsh on the weekend. It was a convincing win to Melton, 67-26. Mel McCauley 50 goals for Melton, Brooke Leeson 17. Mel McCauley, Grace Rogers and Liz Birch, they're better players. Bacchus Marsh's better players, Liv Filand, Jacinta Reid and Jamie Walsh. Big win by Melton, but in many ways an improvement by Bacchus Marsh as well, because last time around this was 104-19, this result. So Bacchus Marsh have scored more and their defence has been good. Their defence was better than Sebastopol's the week before. Mel McCauley scored 63 goals against Sebastopol, and the reason I bring that up is because the player she scored 63 goals on is coming on later in the show. So just want to make sure we get one in now before she tries to get some back later on. But Melton stealing themselves nicely for a finals run. They've got a huge game this weekend.
Yes, Shawnee, a very, very big game this weekend for Melton coming up against Rhiannon, but we'll get to that one later. So a very big performance here by Melton over Bacchus Marsh. We said last week they wanted to get that percentage up just to help them come into that second position. Not that it's going to matter anyway because it's going to be out of Rhiannon and Melton for that second position. So whoever wins this weekend is going to get that spot. But they did get a nice percentage booster there, but not as much as we thought. I think I tipped them by 60 goals last week, so they fell 20 goals short of that. So a very well done there to Bacchus Marsh, who stepped up and hopefully can keep stepping up and come into next year and start winning some big games.
The last A-grade game this weekend for Bacchus Marsh coach Frank Pavlovich. He's announced that he will be standing down a fantastic ornament for the game of netball in the Ballarat Football Netball League. Yeah,
no, definitely. Not just at a club level, but also with the 17 girls at RSL and interleague level as well. He does a lot of work with the girls and really good with the development of them youngsters, and then also at that elite level up in the A-grade as well. So I'm sure he'll be dearly missed by the A-grade girls at Bacchus Marsh.
He will be indeed. Still probably he hopes a couple of weeks left for Frank anyway, looking after the B and C grade girls throughout the finals for Bacchus Marsh. Big game last weekend at the East Noble. East Point taking on Lake Wendouree, and very good game of netball, especially early on in this one. The heat was right on in this game, but in the end, East Point broke down Lake Wendouree in this game. Their defensive press in the end was just too much for the Lakers to handle, and the Lakers had a bad shooting day, resulting in a 47-37 East Point win. Cindy Daniel, 19 goals, and Lauren Drew, 18, the main goal scorers for East Point, with Lauren Atkinson continuing her fantastic last month of form. Definitely got her in line for a tablet, don't worry about that. She's looking very good at the moment. Kat Biskin for Lakers, best on court again for them with 24 goals. Another one very much in the running for the SC Technology Group Player of the Month. Cara Hart and Emma Burton, also the Lakers' better players. Some vision on the screen from this game at the moment. A very high quality game, but a very costly loss for the Lakers, who now can't finish top 2 and would be very unlikely to finish top 3 unless they can beat Sunbury.
Yeah, no, exactly. East actually only one game behind Lake Wendouree now, so you never know what could happen.
East played Darley this week. Lake Wendouree plays Sunbury. If results go as we expect them to, East will actually jump Lake Wendouree and play them in a second elimination final next Sunday.
Exactly. So when you look 6 weeks back, we're looking at East Ballarat. They're sort of a bit of a fringe one. We were worried about Sebastopol coming up and maybe taking that spot. East weren't in that much form, but now since we sort of ever said that, East have just been flying and knocking off all of the top sides of the league. So all credit to East Ballarat, and they're really starting to play some fantastic netball. You see Ryan, Jew and Atkinson named in their best, so their stars are really stepping up and playing well when it counts. But
so therefore they only really started playing well once we bagged them and thought that Sebastopol could take their spot.
I think so.
Good, we're taking the credit for their resurgence. Then we're on the East Point bandwagon. They're our team, don't you worry about that in the slightest. Melton South played their last game of the season last weekend at home against Darley. They led by a goal at three-quarter time, but just couldn't, unfortunately, get the chocolates in the end. Darley winning by a goal, 30-29. Steph Deutscher, 19 goals for Darley on the weekend. Reese Carter-Coleman, 18 for Melton South. Brianna Rosado, Leah Mathy and Tale Bari, the better players for Darley, with Solly Rapati and Linda Nicello, the better players for Melton South in probably what will go down as a disappointing season for Melton South, given the promise they showed so early in the season. To only get, I think it was 3 wins at the end of the year,
3 wins.
Probably underachieving a little bit for that Melton South side.
Yeah, no, exactly. And 2 of them wins coming from Ballarat, and I think the other one against Bacchus Marsh. So
yes,
didn't really step up to any team sort of anywhere near them or above them. So very disappointing season for them, but they do have some very
They challenged the
players.
teams, but they just couldn't get the win. I think they pushed Melton to 3 goals. They pushed Sunbury to a goal throughout the season, but just couldn't get that big scalp.
They play an exciting brand of netball, and hopefully they can sort a few things out in the off-season and come back and firing next year and start winning a few more games and hopefully get up just close to that top 6 spot. But look, we knew it was going to be a close one. It ended up probably being the game of the round with a 1-point thrill. And
Definitely.
I'm sure all of the crowd there were in for a fantastic day of netball. But look, they had a 5-goal lead at half-time, Darley. Then they let it slip in that third quarter and were lucky enough to compose themselves and come back with a 1-goal win, just to sort of show that they are that best of the rest for that bottom 6.
Well, they are this week indeed, as we'll go through the ladder and have a look at Darley sitting in 7th spot, but that could change before the end of the season as well. Rhiannon taking on Ballarat on the weekend. Rhiannon desperately needing a percentage booster. In the end, that didn't matter because Lake Wendouree got rolled, so percentage won't come into it looking at a top 2 spot, but it was Rhiannon 63 defeating Ballarat 24. Great win by Rhiannon. Emma Henry, 47 goals on the weekend. Ruby Parry, 16. For the Lions, for Ballarat, it was Ellen Wirtz and Abby Wiltshire sharing their goals evenly with 12 goals apiece. Maddie, you can talk about this one for a little bit because I need to sample some Coolridge. I'm struggling.
Yeah, well, I think this result was expected by most. Dan being a very strong side, and you saw last time they met, they really, when they had their best side on, played a lot better than that. And they didn't fall in the same trap as last time with Dan by mixing up a bit and then Ballarat sort of matching them for that last half. They had a fantastic start and then kept building on that as each quarter went on. So Kate had them playing a very good brand of netball, and they've come away with a great win, and obviously did have the percentage boost just in case that it did count, which it doesn't. But and yeah, Emma Henry obviously having a field day out there with 47 goals, so she's obviously coming to some awesome form in the finals too.
She's been in awesome form all season long, don't you worry about that. And then on Sunday, very interesting game up at Eureka Stadium, North Ballarat City taking on Sunbury. It was Sunbury winning 31-25 in the end, but there was only 1 goal at half-time and 2 goals into three-quarter time. The undermanned Lions didn't have it all their own way, but of course undermanned on the day as well, and in the end did a fantastic job to come away with the win and secure the minor premiership. Ruth Smith, 19 goals for Sunbury. Emily Azzopardi, 12 goals as well. Azzopardi best on court on the weekend, along with Hayley Mackey and Danny Davidson. Good to see Danny playing some BFL netball for Sunbury as well this week. Hayley Fiddler, 18 goals for North Ballarat City as well, with Stacey McCartan, Emma Church and Louise McCartan, the better players for North Ballarat City. Had a chat to a few of the North girls because they were out at the East Point Lakers game on Saturday, this game being played on Sunday, and they very much viewed this game against Sunbury as a we've got nothing to lose game. We can go out, we can try a few things ahead of finals, we can measure ourselves against a good quality opposition. They went out there and did all that and very nearly pulled off a victory, as we said, against an admittedly undermanned Sunbury, but you can only beat the girls that they put out on the court.
Yeah, no, exactly. This game sort of shows that North being in that 6th position, you don't actually... Everyone sort of thinks, oh yeah, 3rd, yeah, that it's sort of a bit of an advantage. But if you're going to be playing North in that first round of finals, they can play a very, very good brand of netball.
Certainly
And if you come up against them, there's a very good chance that you're going to get knocked out. So that makes this match between Rhiannon and Melton all this more important this weekend. But we'll speak to that about that soon. So fantastic game. There's only 6 goal difference, and as you said, a very exciting one up to the 3/4 time. But all credit to Sunbury there. They didn't have their best side on, so no Sophie Gunn, their gun of the no gun of the side. So but they still come away with a good win there over North, and were able to compose themselves in that last quarter, which is when it really kind of...
They did indeed. Very interesting to see Annie McCartan, of course, the coach of North Ballarat City, compiling a 29-page dossier on the East Point and Lake Wendouree game as well. So if they do come up against North in the finals, Annie's going to be prepared. There's no worry about that. Scribbling all day long was Annie, doing an absolutely fantastic job. Let's have a look at the ladder if I can get through it okay, as I just go up and down a little bit on the levels there. Sunbury on top of the ladder, and that's where they're going to stay. They're officially the minor premiers for season 2014. Well done to the Lions. They're a game and a half clear of both Melton and Rhiannon, who share 56 points at the moment. Lake Wendouree on 52 can move up to third if they defeat Sunbury this weekend, because they do have a better percentage than both Melton and Rhiannon at the moment. If they lose to Sunbury this weekend, they're more than likely going to drop to 5th though, because East Point just 2 points behind them at the moment and will go to 54 points. If they win this week, North Ballarat City in 6th on 44 points. That's where they're staying. Best of the rest at the moment is Darley. They're on 32 points with 6 wins. Sebastopol can join them on 32 points this weekend and do have a better percentage than Darley. So the Borough's looking to be the best of the rest this year. And then Melton South, Bacchus Marsh and Ballarat to round out the table. Stockland Wendouree Player of the Week time, Matty. I'm just going to have a little bit of Coolridge eventually so I can get through this, but this has gone to a player who has played a pivotal role in her side all year, with probably without being noticed as one of the major players in the side. She held together a team that was extremely undermanned this week, played out of the goal attack spot and really helped out with that goaling rotation. Has played some fantastic netball both in the goals and on the wings this season, and will be a key contributor to the minor premiers in their run for back-to-back premierships. Emily has a party from the Sunbury Football Netball Club, our Stockland Wendouree Player of the Week this week. $25 voucher coming your way, Emily, for next time you're in Ballarat, which will be for the qualifying final, I dare say, in this time next week when they come up against either Melton or Rhiannon, Matty.
Yeah, no, correct. So next weekend we'll get that award to you, and congratulations. It's going to get when they got one left for the season next week as well. So everyone will get their hands on that one as well as the Toshiba tablet.
They will indeed. Wow, rejuvenating powers of Coolridge water there. I'm back up and about all of a sudden. Yeah. We're going to go out to an interview because we caught up with the long-socked one herself, Kate Martin, on the weekend to check out how East Point are going in the lead up to the finals, what's got them going over this last 4-week period and how they faced taking on the Lakers and now the prospect of playing them again in the finals, plus figuring out what the heck these long socks are all about, because they're not exactly the fashion statement that Kate was hoping that they are. So let's cross out to Kate, and then we're going to come back after that with the preview of all of this week's games. We're going to come back with Rhiannon Banner after this as well.
Here on the Netball Show this week with East Point's Kate Martin after their win against Lakers. Kate, congratulations on the win for starters.
Thanks, Sean.
Second win against Lake Wendouree for the year. Knowing that with this win you're probably going to face them in finals now, does that give you an extra confidence boost?
Look, yes, of course it does. However, like today's game was completely different from round one. Obviously, both teams had the whole season nearly to gel with some new combinations and things like that. But obviously, we're wrapped with our game today, and with one more round before finals, it's just continue to build on what we've been working on the last few weeks.
A really solid last few weeks, as you mentioned. You've drew with Sunbury, you've defeated Melton, you've had a really good run over the last couple of weeks. What do you put it down to?
A bit of self-belief within the group. Using all 9 players. I think our advantage for our team is that we have 9 really strong, even players that makes Emma's job a lot harder as our coach. But it's also a real strength of our team that we can swing players, as today, from one end to the other. Mix up the row mid-court with some fresh legs. So, and also, drawing with Sunbury, beating Melton. I just feel like we're playing the best netball we have been for the season, hopefully at the right time of the year.
That was going to be my next question. Can you keep that up for the next couple of weeks?
Well, we're gonna be trying really hard to. That's for sure. And look, finals are finals. So it's what you bring on the day, and we're just going to make sure all 9 players are up come that first elimination final that we now going to be in.
Darley this week, it's an interesting game because they'll give you a challenge before finals, which is probably what you want going into the knockout.
Oh, for sure. And it just gives us, obviously Darley a very strong team as well, but with 1 round to go, we just need to just continue to refine and build on the confidence within the playing group.
Who's been the standouts over this last 4-week period where you've been so good, do you believe anyway?
Standouts as in
players?
As in players.
It's a chance to get at some of your teammates.
Look, I think, to be honest, the whole team has just been playing really well in whatever position people have been, asked to perform in. So I think it's been a really solid contribution from everyone across the court. It's a very diplomatic answer, I know.
Now, you didn't like me making mention of your socks last week on the show. Is it a fashion statement or is it an injury or what's going on there?
Let's just put it this way. I wouldn't be wearing them if I didn't think I had to, okay?
Very good answer. Kate, thanks for joining us. Best of luck for this week against Darley and, of course, for the finals. We look forward to seeing East Point perform on the big stage.
Thanks, Sean. Go Roos!
Kate Martin from the East Point Football Netball Club. Good to see we found out the controversy about those long socks. They are medicinal, so to speak, of course, just hiding a calf injury at the moment. So good to see Kate's not just wearing them to stand out and fashions on the field. Rhiannon Banner from the Sebastopol Football Netball Club joins us. Welcome, Rhiannon.
Thank you.
Great to have you in here to help us preview this week's games after a rest last week as well for the bye. What did you get up to when you weren't playing netball?
I watched my brother play Eureka, actually.
Ah, very good.
Yes. So he plays for Williamstown.
Plays for Williamstown, of course.
Yes.
Very, very good. So let's jump straight into the games, and we're going to talk about your game first off, Rhiannon, because you travel to Alfred and Oval this weekend to take on the Ballarat side that very much improved throughout the second half of the season, but a game that you'd probably be expecting that you'll finish the season on a positive note with.
Hopefully. We do want to finish 7th, I guess, because obviously we can't make finals now, but
Yep.
I do think that Ballarat are going to give us a run for our money, definitely. They're going to want to come out and win this game, and probably they think that they might be able to. So, hopefully we can get a win on the board for our last game of the season, and then start playing for next year.
Having the bye in round 17, does it take the momentum out a little bit? Obviously you've played for a while and then you're down and then you're back up for one game, or is it a chance to have a rest and then you'll come out this week and basically, right, this is our grand final?
Possibly. It just all depends, I guess. We'll see how we go at training tonight, and then come out on Saturday hopefully firing. But I think the rest might have been good for us. It could be bad. It just depends with our team, I guess.
Will be interesting to see how that goes on the weekend. Matthew, Ballarat versus Sebastopol. How do you see this one going?
Well, I think Swansea are going to come in with this one with a nothing to lose attitude. Sebast probably coming in thinking it's just a nothing game. They can't make the finals, so they'll sort of just turn up and go through the motions, I think. And I think I'm going to go with Ballarat for my first time for the year.
Wow.
Mainly because Banner's sitting next to me. So
because Banner's likely to line up on your sister this weekend.
Exactly. So I might give the sister a few tips on how to take Banner out, and they should be right. So
You can see all those old footy injuries.
I'm going to tip Ballarat just because I hadn't for the year and I needed it once.
It's logical, I suppose, in some sort of way. I'm going to Sebastopol in this game. I just think that the season that they've had, they've matched their win total for last year with their 5 wins. They get the win this weekend and they've officially improved. They'll have moved up a spot on the ladder if East Point beat Darley. They'll have moved up. They finished 7th last year with 5 wins. They win this week. They're a chance, 8th, sorry. They're a chance to finish 7th with 6 wins, which will be an improvement on last year. It's not the improvement that Georgia wanted at the start of the season where she said that she wanted to play finals, but small steps is still a good sign to take for Sebastopol. So, Banner, I reckon you might be able to celebrate Silly Sunday on a winning note this week.
Probably not for me, but that's all right.
I was going to say, are you wearing a cartoon character costume on Silly Sunday, or are you playing football? Oh well, no silly Sunday for you. Bacchus Marsh taking on North Ballarat City this weekend. Interesting game. Obviously, North City going to prepare themselves for a finals tilt and may use this game to run through some Plan B, Plan C structures just in case things do go pear-shaped the next week. But Bacchus Marsh also very much with that nothing-to-lose attitude. And, of course, farewelling Frank Pavlovich, their coach of the last few seasons as well, coaching his last A-grade game this week. If North Ballarat City don't come to this game 100% prepared, they could be in for a shock.
You know, exactly right. The girls would want to be putting on their best foot forward out on their game. Just for Frank, it's obviously he's been around the club for a long time and done a lot for the club, so the girls want to be wanting to pay him back very well, as Shawnee pretty happy about his drink there.
Yeah.
But look, I think North will be too strong anyway. They're a very good side, proven by that last weekend. I think that Annie will, as you said, try and switch a few things around and just see what the girls can do, and just a few sort of backup plans coming into finals so that she knows 100% of everything, even though she already does. She's a fantastic coach, Annie. But look, I think that North will have a very comfortable win in this one.
Rhiannon, how do you see this game panning out?
Yeah, I think North will be too strong for Bacchus Marsh. Do you think that they're going to bring it to them in the game? Like you said, they got nothing to lose, but with North playing really well against Sunbury last week, they are dangerous coming into finals, and they will try and change up their combinations on the day, but I still think they'll come out with a win.
Yeah, North for mine as well. Darley taking on East Point this weekend, and obviously East Point in red hot form on the weekend and have been in the last few weeks, coming up against Darley's side that have pushed some of these top teams throughout the season. Obviously defeated Rhiannon, and they've pushed a lot of the teams inside that top six as well. Could be a very defensive game. Obviously East Point's defensive press, they've really put that on in the last couple of weeks, and it took Lake Wendouree a little bit by surprise last weekend. Really harmed Lake Wendouree's shooting percentage in the end. And Darley, of course, a very defensive team as well, so could be a low-scoring game, but you just think that East Point will break the shackles at some stage in this one.
Yeah, East Point, when they've been knocking off all of their top sides, you think that them come to Darley, they should have a win, but in saying that, they might go in with that mindset that they should have that win, and they've had big games the last 3 weeks against the top sort of four sides. And now dropping back to someone that's out of the finals, it's obviously not going to be, the preparation is going to be a little bit different, I think. But I still think East will be too strong. They've got some outstanding players, and they'll still want to get up into that fourth spot, so they'll be doing everything they can to do that.
Rhiannon, you'll be cheering pretty hard for East in this one, because obviously a Sebastopol win and an East Point win means that you will finish in 7th spot because you have a superior percentage to Darley.
I think East Point will come out with a win. Darley is still very unpredictable due to their game against Rhiannon. But I do think that East Point will be too strong for them, but anything can happen, I guess.
Pretty big game at Clark Oval this weekend as well. Sunbury taking on Lake Wendouree. Both teams probably a little bit down from what they consider as their best last week. Sunbury really a chance for them. They can't shift from top spot, so they're going to get a chance to play a pretty good finals lead-up game against a team that's going to play finals this year, and that's going to be going pretty hard because they know that if they win, they can still finish in 3rd spot, which is exactly where Kirsty Walsh wants to finish this season. If they lose, they fall down to 5th. They have to take on an East Point side that have beaten them twice already in the elimination final, which isn't flash at all. So expect Lake Wendouree to be going hammer and tong at this one against the Sunbury side that they'll get a couple of players back in and just start getting their structures right for the finals. And once we know when Sunbury get those structures right, there's not a harder team to beat in the competition.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect game leading into a final. It's going to be a really hard-fought battle, but it's not all of the pressure of the final. So it'd be good for both teams to come up against some quality competition, and then the next week both start their finals campaign. So, look, I think after Lakers' performance last week with their full side, I think that Sunbury will be too strong, especially when they get a few players back.
Yep.
Sunbury have been the standout team so far this year, and I think they'll want to finish on a high and just boost their lead up on the top of the ladder there.
Rhiannon, how do you see this one panning out, please?
I feel like their matchup is going to be very similar, and it'll be a very good game. Obviously Sunbury have so much depth, and I think in the end they will come out with a win over Lake Wendouree, but it will be a close game because their matchup is very similar.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Look, I'm tipping Sunbury in this one. I just feel that Lakers on their day can beat Sunbury, I believe, but I just feel that form they showed last week, they're a little bit down from what they needed, and Sunbury are getting ready to take that step up, and I've got a feeling that Sunbury are going to want to make a statement this week and say that, yeah, we're on top of the ladder and we were there for a reason, focusing on all these other teams. Don't forget about us. So expecting Sunbury to come over the line in this one. I'm in trouble. There's no water left. We've got one of the biggest games of the season to talk about. Melton taking on Rhiannon at McPherson Park. Winner finishes in second spot with the double chance, and obviously the immunity that if you do have a bad week in the first week of the finals, you are going to still stay in there. Early this season, Rhiannon beat Melton here at the City Oval. Can they do it again, Matty?
Look, this is not only the game of the round, so yeah, as you said, game of the season. This is the biggest game so far. It's second and third spots on the line, and I know that both teams will definitely be wanting that second spot for that second chance, and I think that Rhiannon will do it again. I'm not sure why. They're both very similar teams, and I'm just going to go with Rhiannon off the top of my head.
The thing that Rhiannon have got going for them is that they do have very tall defenders. In Erin Riley and Amy Elliott, they do have the height to match up on Mel McCauley. Rhiannon, you played on Mel 2 weeks ago, and she got 63 goals against you. She's a very, very tough person to match up on, even when you double team her.
Yeah, she is a hard player to play against. I guess even though her goaling percentage over the year has been outstanding, so I don't think any defender against her is going to matter too much. I do think Melton are going to come out with a win in this game. I haven't decided, but I've decided now.
Good work.
I think being at home as well as their last game, and it being such an important game for both sides, that they will come out with a win this week.
The other thing Melton have been doing in the last couple of weeks is they've actively been bringing the goal attack more into the game. Mel's percentage of the team's score earlier in the season was up in the 90 to 95%. She was shooting the vast majority of their goals. Last week, she still got 75% of Melton's goals. But that meant that Brooke Gleeson was becoming more and more involved in the offence as well. They've got Brooke Gleeson and Jess Bartlett that can float through that GA position. They're both very good players as well. And I believe that Mel's got a bit more confidence in these girls now, obviously after having been away as well. And that could be the difference to them, not just being kind of so Macaulay conscious, obviously going in against a Rhiannon team that will likely double up on Mel, going to leave the goal attack open. If they've got the confidence that the goal attack can take her shots, that could be the difference for Melton, and I reckon that's what's going to get them over the line in a very close game.
Yes.
Stunned. I'm supposed to be the one with no voice and they're not talking. That does us for this week. Round 18 coming at you very, very shortly in the Ballarat Football Netball League's Gull & Company A-grade netball competition. Matty, thanks for joining us once again, mate.
I'll be here again next week, mate. Love it.
Looking very much forward to next week when we start talking finals as well. And Rhiannon Banner, thank you for joining us. Best of luck this weekend in the last game for the season, and hopefully for you, the Burrows can get up into that 7th spot.
Thanks, John.
Thank you very much for joining us as well on the BFNL Netball Show for another week. I'm about to fall apart, but I'll be back at this time next week with more action previewing what's going to be a fantastic 2014 final series. We'll see you then. I'm going to leave that in.